Hey everybody, Buttery here with Crystal's Clean Kitchen, where we help make clean eating a lifestyle. So we have a great couple of episodes lined up for you. We're going to be doing some recipes that have pumpkin in them. 'Tis the season, right? So in today's episode, we have a pumpkin muffin that has a streusel topping on it, and it is so good. It is keto approved, which means it's grain-free and sugar-free. And it's also low carb. You guys, you're going to love this. I'll also give you a dairy-free option as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. Here's all the ingredients that you're going to be needing. So for our wet ingredients, we are going to be doing 3/4 of a cup of some pumpkin. Now you want to make sure that you get actual pumpkin and not the pumpkin pie mixture, because there's two different things that you could do. So 3/4 of a cup of pumpkin. We'll be doing 4 eggs. I always love organic eggs. And for our oils, we're going to be doing coconut oil, but you could also do avocado oil, or if you wanted to do butter. But if you want to try to leave all of that, leave all the dairy out, you could certainly just do coconut oil. We'll be doing 1/3 of a cup of some oil and 2 teaspoons of some vanilla. Okay, for our dry ingredients, we're going to be starting with some almond flour and coconut flour. Now, if you are used to making muffins, in my opinion, this is the best mixture that you can do, because if you did just almond flour, it would be really dense. And if you did just coconut flour, it like falls apart too much. So we'll be doing 2 cups of almond flour and 1/2 cup of some coconut flour. For our sweetener, we're going to be doing 3/4 of a cup of some erythritol monk fruit, which in my opinion does the best when you're baking. It tastes the best for that. Our baking powder, we're doing 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of some salt, and then we're also going to be doing a pumpkin pie mixture. Now, I like to just make my own, but you certainly could buy them if you are wanting them. I'll be doing 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and 1/8 teaspoon of allspice and ginger. But like I said, you could just buy the pumpkin pie spice that comes with it. That comes with all of them mixed together. Okay, so for our streusel topping, we are going to be using 1/2 cup of some nuts. I grabbed some walnuts. And then we're going to be mixing in about 3 tablespoons of some sweetener and some butter. About 1.5 tablespoons of butter. Now, if you wanted to keep this dairy-free, like I said, you could replace that with coconut oil, and that would still work out wonderful. Okay, well, let's get started. So here's our dry ingredients. We're starting with 2 cups of almond flour. Here's our 1/2 cup of some coconut flour and our sweetener, the 3/4 of a cup of some monk fruit. We're going to put in our baking powder. So we need 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Then we'll do our pumpkin pie spices. So 1 teaspoon of some cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. I love nutmeg. And 1/4 teaspoon or 1/8 teaspoon of some cloves and ginger. Okay, then a little salt also. We're doing 1/2 teaspoon of some salt. I usually have the other kind of salt, but I can't find it, so that's why I'm using this one. Okay, now let's give this a mix and go mix together our wet ingredients. We're going to be doing our 4 eggs, 1/3 of a cup of some coconut oil. I need just a little bit more. Now I heated the coconut oil up and then I let it cool down just a little bit. Here's our 3/4 of a cup of some pumpkin and 2 teaspoons of some vanilla. Once this is mixed together, we're going to be adding in our dry ingredients to it. This is so easy, right, you guys? All right, I'm just going to give it a quick stir, make sure that there's no clumps on the bottom. And then I'm going to slowly add in our flour. I always do just a little bit at a time to make sure that it's combining correctly. All right, I'm gonna just scrape the sides down here. Okay, here you go. It looks great. All right, so I have some baking liners that I'm going to put in here. Of course, you could also use a silicone muffin mold. I will make sure to link one of those down below. I love buying the silicone molds because they are just so easy to pop everything out of at the end of it. Okay, so I have my mixture. I also have a giant spoon that I'm just going to be spooning this into each one. You want to fill it about 3/4 full. Now we're going to still be putting the streusel topping on the top, so just remember that because we're going to need some room for that also. Now I personally love my muffins to just puff up and kind of go over the sides a little bit. So that's why I like to fill them up so full, just because I kind of want to see that after I'm done with it. Now, as you're doing this, make sure, of course, to wash your hands. Okay, here you go. Now, we're going to be putting the streusel topping, like I said. And you guys, this is also super good for making a big batch of them, keeping some in the fridge or the freezer, and using them for if you wanted to send them on your kids' lunches or whatever you want. This is such a good recipe to do with that. So here is our streusel ingredients. We need 3 tablespoons of the sweetener. Now, I'm going to be using 1/2 cup of the walnuts, but like I said, you want to kind of make them into smaller chunks before you kind of put them in here. As small as you can get it with your hands, I should say. Of course, make sure to wash your hands. You could do it in a chopper if you wanted. I guess it just depends on how small of chunks you're okay with, or how big of chunks, I should say. Okay, so we have our nuts. Now we're going to be using 1.5 tablespoons of some butter. I just melted mine here. All right, now you're just gonna mix it up like this. You could add some cinnamon if you wanted, but we did add kind of a lot. Well, not a ton, I suppose, but we did add it already to the muffins, so kind of your choice. Ooh, these look so good. Okay, I'm gonna just put a little bit on the top of each one. I don't wanna run out either, so I'm kind of gonna be sparingly at first, and then if I have more, I will just come back and put a little bit more. You also want to kind of push it into the muffin. We're doing this before it's baking, which is why I used the erythritol monk fruit. And it's gonna give it just a really good topping on this. Now, if you don't prefer a streusel topping, you could also do like a cream cheese topping on these also. That would be really good. So it kind of just depends on what you like. I am coming out with another recipe for pumpkin bread that has a cream cheese topping on that. So make sure to stay tuned because you will enjoy it. Okay, these are ready to go in the oven. 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Here it is. Now, pumpkin muffins are actually all muffins are super easy to make. It is such a good snack idea if you have kids or yourself. And you know what? This would even be a good breakfast idea too. It's very nutritious and you're going to love it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and stay tuned for some more great recipes. We'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, yum.